I have a theory on love. I've heard from many different people that there are differing types of love. Love you have for family, for children, and even pets can fall into this category. And then there's love of a partner, wife, husband, boyfriend, girlfriend, that special person. This is supposedly a different love. I don't believe it is. I think that people confuse sex or intimacy with love and then create this type of love subset, when in fact sex has nothing to do with love other than it may be a form of expressing love, just as painting, dancing, singing, etc. can be a way of expressing love. The love that lovers share is exactly that, sharing love. We should remember that love is something innate to us, but it's been conditioned into us to strive for it, to attain it, to find a partner for who we can fall in love with. But not only have we been coerced to look outside of ourselves to do this, the context of falling in love with someone has been manipulated and misrepresented. I'll explain that in a moment. So I'm from Generation X. I was born and I'm living in Australia. And I believe I could fairly say that the young women of my generation, certainly in Australia, were believing that we should find a man to fall in love with and start a life with, preferably before having sex. We were the part of the second wave of feminism, so we experienced a mix of old and new values. However, regardless of when we were born, it appears to be relationships haven't really evolved so much, and that depends on the consciousness of an individual. So in many relationships with sex involved, we attach conditions and boundaries. We think that to have a loving relationship, we must find a partner. But the mistake of the programming leads us to completely overlook loving ourselves first and foremost. Women and men, young and old, are looking for someone to fall in love with before accepting and loving themselves first. Falling in love with a person is better understood when you love yourself consciously, and then you realize it's about sharing your love together. This is why so many relationships crumble, because many people begin this search, especially teenagers who are insecure and don't yet have an understanding of unconditional love or themselves, and so begin the patterns of heartbreak, because no one else can offer or support what they haven't yet discovered in themselves: love. Love, unfortunately, is not a subject taught in schools. Sex education, at least, is taught, but love is not. Can we begin to see how misdirected we are programmed? I'm certainly not saying sex education isn't important. It absolutely is. But love is a fundamental key to this life. And when we realize the absolute gift of loving ourselves, what that brings, not only will our relationships be more intimate, and again, I'm not referring to sex, I'm meaning consciously. If we simply take the time to deep dive into ourselves, to discover oneself, and face any issues and trace them back, we can find that the fundamental reason is lack of self-love and self-worth. When we're in tune with the love inside us, which I believe is our connection to love, God, Source, when we are aware, we resonate with like-minded people. We attract like moths to a light or a flame. There are many moths attracted to us because we are shining with our love. It's no longer overshadowed by the false conditions of ego. When we are a light, if we want to share our love energy in a healthy, conscious relationship, then we must choose from the moths that are present, someone who aligns with us. When we find a person whose values align, we may fall in love by sharing our love. There is no expectation that this person will give us love or make us happy. Instead, we share our experiences and share our energy. And when our personal paths change, we learn letting go. We may have experienced letting go, but if we haven't learnt from it without the false protective barriers and boundaries, then we will have to eventually learn it. Love is a widely complex subject to which I believe my purpose in this life is to share. This is a message that I offer that I hope touches someone that needs to understand what love is. It is the fundamental answer to everything. I'm Sammy. Thank you for listening. Ciao.